can you take out chapter 10 packet? Let's see. Jen, you're on your way to pick it out. You can't find it?
Are
Let's
we
look
doing
for
the
it.
left page?
So you open it here.
No, it's the second one.
So Jen doesn't have packet.
She's a good straight.
So here's a copy I have. You can use this, Jen, okay? Jake,
I got mine.
I'm checking.
It should be up front, usually I grab this one and have it up front.
I can just use this and I have a copy. It's just not stapled.
Now, there should be a stable copy. Right.
Bless you, Jake.
Now, yes,
This is just chapter 10. I'm just grabbing it.
you have chapter 11.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, Jake, it's a little unconventional. It's not stapled, but we are basically at the end of this chapter. Okay? And then I'm gonna give you a different chapter, like a different chapter packet. Okay? So we've already continued reading this. Are we all at, do we all see the name Susan, Eve's daughter?
No.
Yes.
Susan, Eve's daughter? Okay. On it, let me just double check. You have it, okay, perfect.
Locks and bolts make no difference to me, said Father Christmas. It was near at hand. He handed her a bow and a quiver full of arrows. The shield was the color of silver, and across it there ramped a red lion, as bright as a ripe strawberry at the moment when you picked it. The hilt of the sword was of gold, and it had a sheath and a sword belt and everything it needed. And it was just the right size and weight for Peter to use. Peter was silent and solemn as he received these gifts, for he felt they were a very serious kind of present. Susan, Eve's daughter, said Father Christmas, these are for you. And he handed her a bow and a quiver full of arrows and a little ivory horn. You must use the bow only in great need, he said. For I do not mean you to fight in the battle. It does not easily miss. And when you put this horn to your lips and blow it, then wherever you are, I think help of some kind will come to you. Last of all, he said, Lucy, Eve's daughter. And Lucy came forward. He gave her a little bottle of what looked like glass, but people said afterward that it was made of diamond, and a small dagger. In this bottle, he said, there is a cordial made of the juice of one of the fire flowers that grow in the mountains of the sun. If you or any of your friends is hurt, a few drops of this will restore them. And the dagger is to defend yourself at great need, for you also are not to be in the battle.
Why, sir? Said Lucy. I don't know, but I think I could be brave enough.
That is not the point, he said. But battles are ugly when women fight. And now...
Here he suddenly looked less grave.
Here is something for the moment for you all.
And he brought out, I suppose from the big bag at his back, but nobody quite saw him do it, a large tray containing 5 cups and saucers, a bowl of lump sugar, a jug of cream, and a great big teapot, all sizzling and piping hot.
Then he cried out, Merry Christmas! Long live the true king!
And cracked his whip, and he and the reindeer and the sledge and all were out of sight before anyone realized that they had started.
Wow, Sam.
Peter had just drawn his sword out of its sheath and was showing it to Mr. Beaver. And Mrs. Beaver said, now then, don't stand talking there till tea's got cold. Just like men. Come and help to carry the tray down and we'll have breakfast. What a mercy I thought of bringing the bread knife. So down the steep bank they went and back to the cave. And Mr. Beaver cut some of the bread and ham into sandwiches. And Mrs. Beaver poured out the tea. And everyone enjoyed themselves. But long before they had finished enjoying themselves, Mr. Beaver said, time to be moving on now. Chapter
Wow, Sam.
So we're finishing chapter 10. I want to go to where the sentence says Susan, Eve's daughter. What does Susan get as a gift? Jen.
A bow and arrow.
A bow and arrow. And what else?
A quiver.
Look at the end. I can't see the page numbers if you can. But right here.
An ivory horn.
An ivory horn. Nice job, Jen. Now, what does? Oh, he said the horn and the arrow. Sorry, no, not the horn. The arrow is and the bow is supposed to be used for one reason. And what does he say? Yes, Tommy.
Self-defense, and also, like, he said, not a very nice thing that women, like, can't be, like, in the battle.
Yeah, he did mention that.
It's just naughty.
Yeah, I like that you gave me more insight, and I also like that you didn't just say a bow only for great need. You said for defense. You are correct. Great need is for defense. Yes, Jake.
Well, this book is actually just set in World War I.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
almost, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that information. Lucy, Mia, what does Lucy get as a gift?
A little glass bottle of glass and a small gem. And inside the bottle there's juice from the cloud fire. And if any of her friends give her a few drops of this restore them.
That was an amazing answer. I love that. That was great. That tells me what the gift was, and it also told me how you used the gift. That was amazing. That was really good. Now, let's see. Who do I want to ask? Brian. What does they all get as a gift?
A weapon, tool.
Let's look. We're here. Right here? Can you see? Move your finger. Not see it. Flip it over. Awesome. It says here.
Okay, first house, Jenny put out Merry Christmas.
You're close. You're in the same vicinity.
This one,
It says, I suppose.
I suppose from the big branch on his back, but no one crossed on and blew it.
Why is there a video recording?
Please move out of the way.
A large tea counter, 5
Are you
cups,
recording
a
Yeah,
bowl
5 cups of
and
saucers,
cover,
full of lump of
a
sugar, a
jug
jug of cream.
and a great big teapot outside and hot.
Yeah, nice, good job. So he took out some tea. Yeah, that's a strong high five, Brian. Alright, that's all the questions I have for you. We're gonna go to chapter 11 now.
What am I doing? What is wrong with me?
Brian.
It's okay, Brian. Take a breather.
Do you need to go for a walk or sit on a big bed?
I told you I'm allergic though, relaxing. Only that tough.
You're allergic to relaxing.
Wait, then look at me. You will lose it if you keep yelling like that. You are yelling for no reason, but. Okay?
Okay. You do.
They needed your next packet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I apologize. I didn't give you your next packet. Here is chapter 11. I make mistakes as well. We're all learning here.
Yeah.
Chapter 11.
Don't we give feedback for our questions?
So that's why I was like, oh, I don't think we should take them, right?
Yep.
It goes to chapter 13.
But what we can, you can just keep chapter 6 nearby. Alright, let's do chapter 11.
Has
Oh boy. I'm just gonna leave it right here.
again, look
I'll
at
put this on my folder.
Stop
This
the
one.
recording.
We'll just keep it on your desk for now, okay, Brian? No, it's fine. If you want, I can even just put it on the floor. You want me to put it on the floor?
I was putting
Or
it
do
in
you
my
want-
work folder.
Here, I'll just put it here.
Okay.
And I'll give it to you later. Thank you for working with me. Nice. Do chapter 11.
11. Aslan is near.
Oh. Okay. I apologize, John.
Always stay good.
Alright, let's go.
Edmund, meanwhile, had been having a most disappointing time. When the dwarf had gone to get the sledge ready,
It's okay,
he
Jim. We'll
expected that
figure
the
it out.
witch would start being nice to him, as she had been at their last meeting. But she said nothing at all. And when at last Edmund plucked up his courage to say, "Please, your majesty, could I have some Turkish delight? You said..." She answered, "Silence, fool!" And then she appeared to change her mind and said, as if to herself, "And yet it will not do to have the brat fainting on the way," and once more clapped her hands. Another dwarf appeared. "Bring the human creature food and drink," she said. The dwarf went away and presently returned, bringing an iron bowl with some water in it, and an iron plate with a hunk of dry bread on it. He grinned in a repulsive manner as he set them down on the floor beside Edmund, and said, "Turkish delight for the little prince." "Take it away," said Edmund sulkily. "I don't want dry bread." But the witch suddenly turned on him with such a terrible expression on her face that he apologized and began to nibble at the bread, though it was so stale he could hardly get it down. "You may be glad enough of it before you taste bread again," said the witch. While he was still chewing away, the first dwarf came back and announced that the sledge was ready. The White Witch rose and went out, ordering Edmund to go with her. The snow was again falling as they came into the courtyard, but she took no notice of that, and made Edmund sit beside her on the sledge. But before they drove off, she called Morgrim, and he came bounding like an enormous dog to the side of the sledge. "Take with you the swiftest of your wolves, and go at once to the house of the beavers," said the witch, "and kill whatever you find there. If they are already gone, then make all speed to the stone table, but do not be seen. Wait for me there in hiding. I, meanwhile, must go many miles to the west before I find a place where I can drive across the river. You may overtake these humans before they reach the stone table. You will know what to do if you find them." "I hear and obey, O Queen," growled the wolf.
That's a heavy ass.
Immediately he shot away into the snow and darkness as quickly as a hawk. In a few minutes, he had called another wolf and was with him down on the dam and sniffing at the beaver's house. But of course, they found it empty. It would have been a dreadful thing for the beavers and the children if the night had remained fine, for the wolves would then have been able to follow their trail, and 10 to 1 would have overtaken them before they had got to the cave. But now that the snow had begun again, the scent was cold, and even the footprints were covered up. Meanwhile, the dwarf whipped up the reindeer, and the witch and Edmund drove out under the archway and on and away into the darkness and the cold. This was a terrible journey for Edmund, who had no coat. Before they had been going a quarter of an hour, all the front of him was covered with snow. He soon stopped trying to shake it off, because as quickly as he did that, a new lot gathered, and he was so tired. Soon he was wet to the skin, and oh, how miserable he was. It didn't look now as if the witch intended to make him a king. All the things he had said to make himself believe that she was good and kind, and that her side was really the right side, sounded to him silly now. He would have given anything to meet the others at this moment, even Peter. The only way to comfort himself now was to try to believe that the whole thing was a dream, and that he might wake up at any moment. And as they went on, hour after hour, it did come to seem like a dream.
Sorry, Mrs. Parton.
Thank you, Brian.
Tommy, what does Edmund want from the queen?
To be a king.
Good, but it's in the first paragraph.
Turkish delight.
Yeah, he wants Turkish delight. And what does she say? She says something not so nice.
Peasant.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Peasant. She goes, silence.
Fool.
Yeah, silence, fool.
Silence. Fool.
What is, Jen, what does she bring him instead of Turkish delight?
A bowl of water and some dry bread.
Nice, good job, Jen. Yeah, stale bread, bowl of water. Is that gonna taste good?
No.
No, I don't think it's gonna taste good. He grinned and said something else, Mia. He grinned and a what? Bring human, and somewhere in there. It said he grinned and a,
Repulsive manager.
and then what did, I'm not sure who's speaking, but it says Turkish delight, Jake. It says Turkish delight for the what?
For the prince.
For the little prince. And he goes, ha ha ha. Does it sound like mocking?
Yeah.
Yeah? What else do you think, Tommy?
I think it's the wolf.
You think it's a wolf?
Yeah.
Giving the, okay, that's a good, yeah, it might be. Let's see. Who tries to track down the beavers? Brian. Who tries to track down the beavers? Somewhere over here. Something take with you.
Damn.
Take with you the.
Turkish delight.
Not quite. Take with you.
With you instead of your wolf.
Nice. So he says, the book says wolves are gonna track down the beavers. Did they find the three other children and the beaver and Mr. Beaver and Mrs. Beaver?
No.
Tell me, what did they find?
The scent and the footprint covered with snow.
Yeah, and they also said it was what? They found it
Empty.
empty. Nice, good job. Let's continue. Reading.
Turn the page.
Yes, turn the page.
Christmas?
This lasted longer than I could describe, even if I wrote pages and pages about it. But I will skip on to the time when the snow had stopped and the morning had come, and they were racing along in the daylight.